welcome to Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. A lot's happened this week. Mark Robinson, the Republican running for governor of North Carolina, was found to have commented on posts on a porn website. This is according to CNN. On one of these posts, he proclaimed, "I'm a black Nazi," in all caps. All caps is the surefire way to reassure someone, yes, I'm definitely racist. Following the news, the campaign had a staff shakeup. They're getting some new people in charge of the campaign, and they're even rebranding themselves with a new slogan. Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Money Shot.
Gosh.
Mark Robinson's alleged username on the site was Mini Soldier, which is a name he likely picked up after getting turned on by small penis humiliation videos. Of course, true to MAGA form, the word soldier was misspelled. A lot of Republicans are starting to distance themselves from Mark Robinson. The Republican Governors Association has said they will no longer air ads in that state supporting him. Of course, there are a lot of reasons not to support Mark Robinson, but it's odd that the final straw for the RGA was making an adult website not fun. Olivia Newsy, the Washington correspondent for New York Magazine, was placed on leave after it was revealed that she had sent explicit photographs of herself to former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It says something when the guy who cut off a dead whale's head and transported it on the roof of his car thinks to himself, this is too fucking weird to talk about. Of course, as you may have heard, Kennedy dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Donald Trump. It's a shame for him, really. He was so looking forward to a debate with Trump and either Biden or Harris on a national stage. Of course, he will have to settle for a debate with the dead worm living in his head on a live Rumble feed. The Threads account for the New York Times was mysteriously taken offline and then reactivated. Now that that's done, I can't wait until the New York Times decides to reactivate journalism.
Oh.
A 105-year-old woman received her master's degree from Stanford University. I can't wait for her first job interview when the potential employer asks, "Where do you see yourself in 5 minutes?" And on that cheerful and hopeful note, on with the show. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Hysen, Gina Brown, Tiffany Norton, and Jess Feeney.
Hey, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone, welcome back. Jeff, I believe congratulations are in order for your family.
Yes, my older son got married. It was wonderful.
Mazel.
Thank you. Although the problem was at the welcome events, which I sponsored, I prepared about 5 minutes for the toast, and my wife heard it 2 days before the event and said, "Stop being funny, start being sentimental." And at least she thought it was funny, which was unusual for her reviews of my material. but it caused a quick rewrites, but everything worked out, though. Thank you.
Nice.
Mrs. Hysen always knows.
Oh,
I
yes.
love it.
Yes, whether or
And
not
like a true comic, you said you sponsored it. The event you sponsored.
Well,
I emceed my son's wedding, and he gave me 2 drink tickets. Thanks, kid.
We got the signage from the beer sponsor.
So what's everyone else been up to this week?
I don't
one thing,
know.
Tom, that while
Doom
everyone's
spiraling.
Tom, while everyone's thinking about the answer to that question, just remember the way Republicans think is who hasn't called themselves a black Nazi?
I
Yeah.
I was going to mention something about so far in your monologue. I heard about a black Nazi and some sort of an ageist joke. I'm not sure, but I feel like I should get off this one.
Well, I want it to be on the record. I have never referred to myself as a black Nazi.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a Nazi.
But that's the way Republicans think. So they say, well,
thank you for rescuing me from that
They're
one,
saying.
Jeff,
well,
immediately.
it's not disqualifying to them.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not. And I'm surprised actually the porn stuff is given the person that they have put up to run for the presidential race. So I just didn't think that that was disqualifying either. So
That's right.
Yeah, we've got two porn stories kind of in a way, right? You've got that one, and then you've got RFK, and who has been a serial philanderer for forever. And I like how they're like, it's Olivia's scandal, not his. She's a reporter. Yes, she got suspended, but like it's gonna be her that pays the price, and then poor Cheryl Hines has got to walk around Hollywood like I don't know what. I mean,
Oh boy. She's the one I feel worse for in all of this. I mean, not really. But I do feel bad. She's just been embarrassment after embarrassment on his behalf.
I mean, she made her bed, Jess.
She did.
She made her bed. Okay.
We'll see if she ever lies in it with him again.
I thought the bear story was really the killer, but I guess not.
I think in the terms of Mark, like I feel like it's only a problem because he's black. Like apparently the porn part is not an issue. You can still run. But black
Clarence Thomas.
We can't have two problems in one.
Yeah, it's like it's it's almost like they're more turned off by the fact that it's like a black Nazi. It's like, well,
right.
Any Nazi is not great.
Right.
I think maybe black Nazi is just more shocking.
And contradictory. They're kind of they kind of feel a certain way.
Right. It
must be like how, I don't know. I was going to say something and I just realized it's probably really terrible and I should just keep my mouth shut. Edit, Tom. Edit my inner.
You have not done very many episodes of this show, Tiffany. So I was like, this is the place to say that stuff.
Well, I mean, they don't want him appropriating their culture. Like, get out of here. Right. This is ours, man. We built this. You don't know. You're new. And probably he was impressive in maybe some of the photos. And they're like, hey, this is for the little guy.
Donald Trump posted on his social media website recently, "I hate Taylor Swift." That just shows how out of touch he is with most Americans. He probably could have pulled more independent and swing voters if he had substituted Taylor Swift with Nickelback.
Oh.
Donald Trump says he wants to leave the issue of access to abortion to the states. I believe he knows what a state is. I just believe he doesn't know how they function. In this video, we see how easily Donald Trump goes off topic and talks about things that concern him, even when asked the easiest and most basic questions at a town hall event.
My name is Isaiah. I'm a third-generation UAW worker, working hard to build trucks here in America. Yes.
Get ready. You're going to be doing plenty of it.
Thank you, sir. I work for Ford, and you actually came and visited the plant that I work at.
That's right.
You did. And my question to you, sir, is what do you see as the major threats to the future of Michigan manufacturing, auto working jobs, and what will you do to eliminate those threats, sir?
Okay, so I'll get into another little bit of a long answer, because when you say major threat, to me we have one really major threat that's called nuclear weapons. We have other countries that are hostile to us. They don't have to be hostile to us. I always say if you have a smart president, you'll never have a problem with China, Russia, or any of them, okay? I got along great with Putin. I got along great with President Xi. I got along great with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. Everybody said, oh, you can't get along with them. And when I hear these people talking about global warming, that's the global warming you have to worry about. Not that the ocean's going to rise in 400 years, 1/8 of an inch, and you'll have more seafront property, right, if that happens. I said, is that good or bad? I said, isn't that a good thing? If I have a little property on the ocean, I have a little bit more property. I have a little bit more ocean. A lot of these leaders are fantastic. You have to understand one thing. They're dealing, they're 100%. These people are the sharpest people. They're not a little bit backward. They are at the top. You know the expression, they're at the top of their game, and they use it against us. But India is very tough. Brazil's very tough. There are certain countries, I can tell you every one. I can give you from top to bottom. China's the toughest of all, but we were taking care of China with the tariffs. So we're going to do a reciprocal trade. If anybody charges us 10 cents, if they charge us $2, if they charge us 100%, 250, we charge them the same thing. And you know what's going to happen? Everything's going to disappear, and we're going to end up having free trade again. And if it doesn't disappear, we're going to take in a lot of money. Okay? But you know, the biggest beneficiary, I believe, is going to be your state. And I won't say that to other states, I promise. About your state, you are going to have plants built at a level that you haven't seen in 50 years. Okay? Great question. Thank you. Thank you.
That answer, yeah, I actually clipped that. The original answer was something like 8.5 minutes long. And like, I imagine that guy who asked that question was thinking to himself, maybe it would be better for me and my family if we all just got nuked right now and just end this suffering.
I love when he's like, great question. I actually forgot what the question was.
Yeah, immediately.
There's so many answers in there to nothing.
So about cars in Michigan. Was that poor guy standing the whole time?
Right. And then he's going to make a special deal just for Michigan. Just you guys. Just y'all.
No other state.
No other. You get 50 million or whatever that was.
Right.
And then also too, for a real estate mogul, okay, I need to interrupt a little bit. 1 more inch of ocean is 1 inch less of acreage.
Yes.
Or land.
He doesn't know.
He just thinks more ocean means more oceanfront property.
He doesn't explain the boundary.
He just thinks more water means more beach. Like,
right. Yes, it does not make your property any longer by adding water to it. Yes, less of it is usable now. So
it's the same amount of oceanfront property, except the oceanfront property will be in Nebraska. If he has it.
Right.
Closer by an inch. Oh my God.
Yeah, he must have missed the people who have oceanfront property and their houses have fallen into the water.
Right.
All the threats in Miami because of the lack of conservation and protection in advance of these threats to the environment. He's missed all that because he doesn't care.
He doesn't care and he doesn't understand it. Like it's like when he said that, like, oh, we have to rake the forests to prevent forest fires. Like he's just like, what? There's an easy answer. Just do it. Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
I've seen comedians on like live streams who haven't been trolled as bad as Trump's been trolled, basically.
Yeah. I did want to quickly point out, I do love how, like, first of all, he never answers the question. He always kind of flips it to like what he wants to talk about and how he's bragging about like he's got good relationships with dictators and like, you know, we wouldn't have all these foreign policy problems if we were just friends with all the dictators. But it's like, dude, no, like, yeah, you're friends with them because they're playing you. You're not friends with them because they think you're so great and they're so nice to you and they're going to give you everything that you want. They're friendly because you're so stupid that they know that they can flatter you and like get you to do shit for them, which is what you've done in the past. So like,
I wouldn't call those friends.
Fake friends.
Well,
accomplices.
Right. I think he's being extorted. I mean, truly.
Yeah.
He owed a ton of money after those casinos failed. And who came and bailed him out? Who gave him that money? And like, what did they do? Like, if you want to turn somebody, I mean, I don't know if anybody likes gangster movies as much as I do, but if you want to get that guy to turn and become an informant, you get one with weak character, or he's kind of an idiot who like constantly gets himself into money trouble, and you're like, all right, you're my patsy now,
right?
Totally.
And that's it. I mean, they've got stuff on him. That's my opinion, and I don't think that's too cute or anything.
Of course, Donald Trump doesn't need a question from a town hall attendee to ensure that any statement of his will be totally fucking bonkers, as we can see in this clip from a recent rally in Arizona.
He's weakened the border. He wants to have open borders, and he's going to go back to that. I don't even know what he's saying now. It doesn't matter, because when they're for open borders, they're never going to change. They're stupid people, because it's going to ruin our country. But she's tough in the border, so if you don't mind, I'm going to call her Border Carry Lake. From now on, it's Border Carry Lake. She talked about knowing it was all false. She talked about the Charlottesville hoax, and these people did nothing about it, which has been totally debunked, as they say, by Snopes and Snoops and everybody else. And go look it up. Go to Snoops, whatever the hell that is.
I'm not sure whatever the hell that is a great argument to make if you're looking to support your argument. Like, yeah, check this shit out. This backs up what I said. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I hear it's good.
And if you're 78 and you are trying to appeal to any other generation, I don't think Snoops is the way to do it, because you're just screaming, I have no clue, and I should no longer be a part of this.
He doesn't have the time to verify. Somebody told him there was something good on a website, and he doesn't verify it. He just accepts it as gospel, but he wants you to look it up.
He wants you to look it up, but he also doesn't want to call it by its appropriate name, and anybody young knows that it's not Snoops. So.
The poor Snoops people, like poor Camp Snoopy or whatever, is getting all these calls. You guys are suppressing the story, man. It's called, it's like he doesn't want the real name. It's called Snopes.
Right.
Snopes is the website he's looking for.
Right.
Not Snoops. Not Snoops. Yeah.
It's moments like these that convince me all the more that he just doesn't know how to read, or is just not strong at it. Because, like, not only, I was thinking, like, when you said, like, yeah, young people know it's Snopes, like, people young as us know it's Snopes. Gen Z probably doesn't know what the fuck Snopes is. Like, like, they're not looking at Snopes, like, they're not fact-checking,
Right.
But, like, I feel like any man his age that's even remotely involved in politics should just know what that is.
Right.
He doesn't even know what it's just words on a page, if that. He probably heard it somewhere and was just like, Snoops, like, he just liked it and hung on to it. But, like, it's just amazing to me that just the wealth of things that he's not aware of.
Well, and as Sam Elliott narrated in the latest Lincoln Project ad, I can't believe we're doing this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the nickname part was my favorite part of the clip. Like, let's try to make this. He seems like, remember when in Mean Girls when they're trying to quit trying to make fetch happen. Like that's what he, like, border carry late. Wait, what? Like, board her?
Waterboard her? I mean, what do you? What's the thing you're trying to do?
I barely know her.
Aircraft? What kind of border? Border? Yeah. He has to nickname everybody because he can't remember what their names without them.
But he thinks it's cutesy. I think he does it because he just, everybody's comrade Kamal, whatever it is. Like, everybody has to have a little nickname. He thinks it's cute.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of them though are objectively better than others. Like, I kind of fuck with Comrade Kamala. Hell yeah, that's my fucking comrade, dude.
Except that he doesn't say Kamala. Like, that's the problem, right?
Oh, he says Kamala
or whatever it is.
Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Border Carry Lake, that sounds like a dog breed. That doesn't sound like it's I don't see how that would help anyone. It's not catchy at all.
No.
With the stock market continuing to break records in a Biden administration and a strong showing for an incumbent vice president in the polls, even Fox has to admit that things do not look as good for Trump as they would prefer to report, as we can see in this analysis from Karl Rove.
Remember how tight this is. You talked about the national numbers. Take a look at the Real Clear Politics average and the 538 average in each of the 7 battleground states. First column is Real Clear Politics. Only in 2 of the 7 states, Arizona for Trump and Wisconsin for Harris, is the difference between the 2 candidates larger than 1%. Same thing in 538. It's only 2 states, and Harris in this one, it leads in both Wisconsin and in Michigan. So we're talking about, let's assume this has a 1% or 2% impact on the electorate. That could be decisive. Right now in the Real Clear Politics average is 262 votes for Donald Trump, 257 for Joe Biden, and 19 votes in Pennsylvania, which they call tied up. And over here, it's 246 for Trump to 292 for Harris. But again, 5 out of the 7 states is separated by less than a point.
So Tony Fabrizio, the Trump campaign pollster, sent out a memo later this week saying that their surveys show that the movement among undecided voters was towards Trump. Do you believe that?
Well, every other poll shows that has been conducted since the debate shows that the movement has been towards Harris, albeit very modest. So I'm always suspicious of campaigns that issue their own numbers in order to correct a bad day. But right now the evidence tends to lean the other way. But again, modestly, I mean, we're talking about changes in these polls. I think of the 4 polls I've seen, the biggest change is 2 points.
I don't necessarily like how panicked Karl Rove is the same as evil douchebag Karl Rove. Like I want some variety in there. Come on, Karl, step up your game.
It's just number salad now. Now they don't even have word salad. It's just numbers. It's like, look at this and carry this and da 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 da. Like,
yeah. I mean, it looked. I was trying to look through all that, but it looked like everything was within the margin of error.
Yeah, absolutely. And
the biggest swing was 2.9 points or something. It really didn't mean anything.
No, nothing.
But that's also based on polls that they're choosing, and I'm not saying it isn't close, but they're picking and choosing their polls there, and the fact they're worried. And of course, we should be worried also. But a larger point is how absurd it is that we're sitting here discussing one congressional district in Nebraska and Pennsylvania versus the entirety of the country, because Kamala has a lead if it was just votes. If it's popular, everybody's vote counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Tom just got his ballot. I just got my ballot. It's not going to change things as far as the presidential race goes, which is absurd.
I know.
Right.
Yeah,
but it will for the Senate. Hint, hint, hint.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. There's somebody in Pennsylvania, and they said it's almost impossible to sit and watch football because if you got to watch football live, can't fast forward. And he said 90% ads for one of the candidates.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Man, I live in New York and I feel like I don't get anything.
Yeah.
No one's trying to reach me. They're just no, we know.
I used to live in Minnesota, and you did. Yeah, whatever. They knew what we were going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Maryland does too. I mean, we know how the state's going to go, but I still, if I'm watching MSNBC Live or any of them, they're still there. Both of the ads are still running, especially for the Senate race.
Yeah. Well, also, you and Jeff kind of live Virginia adjacent, so you probably get some kind of swing stuff, and then
we get D&D stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is Donald Trump's penchant for butchering the English language contagious? You bet. In fact, it seems to be a prerequisite to show one's support for the former president, as we can see in this baffling exchange with one of his supporters.
Do your own research. Just don't hear speculation.
Do you know Mike Lindell?
Yes.
And do you like him?
I love the man to death, but I'm so sick of seeing his commercials.
Oh, right. Okay. So one of the things, he's a good example to me of this phenomenon that I see a lot in what would be called conspiracy theorist circles is making a bold prediction. Trump's going to become president by this period of time. It doesn't happen. And then I get confused because the followers don't stop trusting him. Mike Lindell has predicted just around the corner Trump's going to be by this August, whatever, then this, and that hasn't happened. I agree. And why doesn't that cause you not to support them and think, oh, maybe what they're selling me is dishonest?
Things have, they have channels they have to go through, and things have to happen in certain way to happen. So, all right, I'm sorry. I'm on the spot.
Oh.
I don't even understand what happened just now.
That was more coherent than Trump's answer in the first segment.
It's nice when you actually go ahead and get to witness the visible symptoms of a stroke as they happen.
I was reading an article on how to avoid falling for a bot on like online dating websites. And what you're supposed to do is ask a double negative question if you think you're dealing with an AI bot because they can't handle it. That's
Oh, funny.
You just saw that happen in a human.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I see these interviews, I just kind of feel bad because it's like, you're gonna break them. You're gonna break this dude's brain. Like, I guess, and it sucks because it's like, how else do you really get, I mean, God willing, change people's minds? And I think asking questions is like one of the best ways to go about that. So it just sucks when it kind of goes to what the guy was asking. Like, he's like, well, if this person's lying right in front of your face, why don't you stop supporting them? And he just doesn't really know. And because it doesn't matter. If
you're a follower of a cult, you don't see what's in front of you. And that's a really good example. Like if somebody was putting together a thing, you may be a cult member if boom, just throw a bunch of them in.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for them, Jess. They made their beds.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. What's her face?
But it's like it's just like a dumb animal. I feel bad saying it, but it's just like
again, this is the podcast on which to say it.
Okay, you're right. I just their poor little tiny brains. I just can't even imagine. I imagine that they live much of their lives confused.
They're poor little mini soldiers.
That too. I'm sure they got a lot of that going on as well.
But I imagine it's also really simple because, think about if you don't have to think for yourself and you just take the word of somebody else and you just follow along. How simple is that? Like, maybe we're the ones who make our lives super complicated by using our own brain. That hurts.
Yeah.
And on that note, that's our show. I want to thank Jeff Hysen, Gina Brown, Tiffany Norton, and Jess Feeney.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This episode was written and hosted by Tom Myers with panelists Jeff Hysen, Gina Brown, Tiffany Norton, and Jess Feeney. Theme music composed and arranged by Jeroen Hurck. Executive producers Tom Myers, Matt Connarton for ipmNation, and Eddie Carson for Odyssey Radio. Please leave a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Tom Myers, for access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, and bonus clips. Thank you for listening, and please visit tommyers.us.